Hello students, myself Dr. Shilpa Bhosle, Assistant Professor of Botany from Dempe College of Arts Science, Miramar, Panji. Program Bachelor of Science, 3rd year, Subject Botany, Semester 6, Course Code BOD105, Course Title Nursery and Gardening. Unit Title Nursery. Module name Manuring and Irrigation. Outline Technique of Manuring and Technique of Irrigation. Learning outcomes explain the concept of manuring and irrigation to handle manuring and irrigation. Coming to introduction, manure is an organic matter that is obtained from the animal waste and their decomposing bodies. It is used to improve the quality of soil and increase the yield of the crop. Types of manure. Manure can be divided into farmyard manure, green manure, and compost manure. Green manure, this increases the percentage of organic matter in the soil, which helps in the suppression of weeds and prevention soil erosion. In this picture, you can see the green manure where the plants are directly used. Farmyard manure. It improves the soil structure and it is used as a natural fertilizer in farming. Farmyard manure increases the capacity of soil that holds more water and nutrients. In this picture, you can see the farmyard manure, which can be used. Compost manure. It improves the soil structure and water retention capacity of the soil, thereby improving the health of the plant. This is the compost manure picture where you can see the composting of the manure is done. Application of manures and fertilizers. Types and methods of manure application. Timely application of fertilizers and manure in adequate quantity is important for the growth of the plant. The manure and method of manure application depends upon the type of the plant in the field. In this picture, you can see mechanical application of manure. The first is bulky manures, that is farmyard manure or other bulky manures must be broadcast over the entire area and mixed well with the soil by hurrying. The application of manures depends on the season to avoid leaching of the nutrients. In areas receiving light rainfall, the manures may be applied during the monsoon, whereas it must be done after the monsoon in the areas receiving heavy rainfall, so that the manure is in the soil for the uptake of the plant. Concentrated manures. Concentrated manures, that is oil cake, fish manure, are known as the concentrated organic manures. Now, if you are using concentrated manures, these manures must be applied well in advance as they are not easily available. They have to be broken down by the soil microbes to be made available to the plants. There are only few companies which are actually producing this concentrated manures. In the picture, you can see the factory showing the concentrated manure packing. Fertilizers application. This time of application of fertilizers is very important. Generally, organic manures are applied while preparing the land so that they improve the structure and water holding capacity of the soil. Now, when we use fertilizers are normally applied just before or soon after planting. The frequency and amount of fertilizers application depends upon the crop. soil and season. In the picture, you can see the lady which is applying the fertilizers and the various stages where the plant is fully grown and where the lady is also applying the manure in the field where the plant are in the smaller stages. Fertilizer application in the solid form. That is, first is broadcasting. Basal application. Depends on the crop. Broadcasting of fertilizers is carried out prior to sowing or planting just before the last plowing is carried out in the field. Next is the top dressing. When fertilizers are broadcast in the standing crop is called as top dressing. In the picture you can see the fertilizers are applied in the form of top dressing. In this method, usually nitrogenous fertilizers and micronutrients are applied in a dense sown flowered crop. Placement of fertilizers. Place the fertilizers in prepared soil before sowing, irrespective of the position of the seeds. There can be three types of fertilizer placement. That is plow, furrow or single band placement. Second is deep placement and third is ring placement. Plow, furrow or single band placement. The application of fertilizers in narrow bands beneath and by the side of the crop row or furrows is called as band placement. This is done during the process of plowing. This method can be adopted first in the case of low fertility of soil. Second, when the fertilizers reacts with the soil constituent, leading to the fixation of the nutrients. Third, in the places where volatilization loss is high. In single band placement, fertilizers are applied on the side of the planted rows. Double band placement happens when the fertilizers is applied in two bands, that is on both the sides of the planted rows. Next is the deep placement. It is generally practiced for the application of nitrogenous and phosphatic fertilizers and in fields. This deep placement is commonly recommended in dry land agriculture. You can see in the picture dry land, a piece of dry land, and this deep placement can be used for this. Third, ring placement. The quality of fertilizer and the quantity of fertilizer per plant is calculated. Then applied at some depth around the plant in a circular manner. This method is mostly practiced in case of orchard crops. Application of liquid fertilizers. Foliar application. This method can be used with fertilizers, nutrients readily soluble in water. It is also used when this is soil fixation problem. In this method, it is difficult to apply sufficient amount of major elements. Nutrient concentration of about 1 to 2% can be applied without causing injury to the foliage. Foliar application, therefore, is commonly used only to apply minor elements or to supplement the major elements in the soil. Water. Water is limiting factor under arid ecosystem. Meanwhile, water is an essential input of any commercial nursery. Therefore, every care should be taken for careful utilization of every drop of water. The quality of water used in nursery is important for the growth of the plant. Saline and polluted water must not be used. It must be ensured that there is adequate water supply for irrigation. If you are doing a nursery, beside the nursery must be located near a water source so that there is no water scarcity at any time in the course of raising plants. Irrigation. Nursery beds must be watered carefully with the help of a fine rose can. After the establishment of plants, watering must be done as per the requirement of individual plants. No flooding irrigation is recommended under sandy soil. Sprinkler system of irrigation is suitable for nursery plants. In the picture, here you can see the nursery which is grown with the help of this sprinkler system. For a big nursery, irrigation should be done in parts instead of watering whole the nursery at a time. If plants are raised in beds, the beds should be kept fresh, not wet. Too much watering creates decaying of root system. The irrigation should be done either in the morning or preferably in the evening. Water is limiting factor under arid ecosystem. Meanwhile, watering is essential input of any commercial nursery. Therefore, care should be taken for sensible utilization of every drop of water. Next, the runoff collected in ponds can be used for nurseries. The wastewater containing pollutants, sediments, debris, and also saline water can be recycled after necessary treatments. Nowadays, a better but cost method of improving water quality is available, that is deionization process. The pH of irrigation water should be 6.5 to 7.5 and free from harmful salts. For lowering down the pH, and for increasing calcium nitrates can be used. Weeding may also adversely affect the health of the plant due to competition for nutrients, moisture, light and space. In nursery, cooling fan, misting system, foundation floor or exhaust fan roof covered with polycarbonate sheets, control pen inside entrance should be maintained. The weeds may also act as host for different pests and diseases. Weeding in the nursery beds should be done as early as possible. First weeding is recommended soon after germination when soil is wet. Proper soil working and thinning out of seedling in order to maintain desired space should be done at the time of weeding. Use of undecomposed compost or field yard manure may also cause weed infestation. The frequency of weeding depends upon intensity of weed population. However, frequent weeding is required during monsoon season. Pre-emergence weedicides can also be used. However, post-emergence weedicides should not be used without knowledge of proper recommendation for a particular plant type. For development of healthy stalks, proper nutrient management is essential. Fertility of seed beds goes on decreasing due to repeated growing of plants in the same seed beds. which can be restored by following proper crop rotations, mixture of decomposed material, green manuring, and use of inorganic fertilizers. Coming to conclusion, important organic manure which are used for nursery beds are farmyard manure, compost, leaf molds, oil cake, and wood ash. The organic manure is incorporated into the soil bed or as filling mixture for the container before sowing seeds. Use of organic manures have added advantages in sandy and degraded soils. In recent years, use of vermicompost is also becoming popular. Application of inorganic fertilizers in nursery is not so common, but initially small amount of NPK can be used for far growth and development of nursery plants. These fertilizers are applied only after irrigation because due to lack of moisture, they will become ineffective. Foliar feeding up to limited extent can also be given. Even in case of deficiency symptoms, liquid fertilizers can be applied. In nursery management, there is additional advantage that the waste material can be composted in a corner of nursery and utilized as and when desired. These are the reference used for the module. Thank you.